This is JB McConville, aka J Business. I don't have any allegiance. I'm just looking for the money. You're listening to the DU Football Show.
And I quote, "I take great pleasure in this result," is exactly the words JB sent to me over Messenger.
I bet.
I kept giggling every time I walked in the living room.
I'm surprised he hadn't texted me.
Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch with the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Sam Houston. Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Son of a lord. Look straight and short. Sam Graham. Sam Graham.
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League is told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, moonwalking on snowdrifts, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. How you doing over there, good sir?
Not too bad, thank you, sir. Just sore and tired.
Well, see, sometimes they can't all just be insults. Sometimes we do nice little fun, sly, talk about you being a boy band member, of which you'd be the emotional one, because we all know that.
Probably.
Oh, yeah. No, probably. Absolutely you would be.
But I'd also be the one that had the most sex.
Wait, why should that matter coming from the married man?
No, if I was the boy band member, I probably wouldn't have the life I have currently.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well,
it's an alternate universe.
And of course, on the ones and twos, we have producer Mel. Producer Mel, how you doing over there?
Trying to stay warm.
Yeah, I know. And your voice took a old kicker.
It went from 55 degrees to 15 degrees in 24 hours, and my voice went with it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's people don't know this about Mel, but those crazy dips in weather, not just like your voice, like massive headaches. They just do a number.
Fucking sucks. I'm only good.
Number on you.
I do well in warm, humid environments. Can I go back to Roatan now, please?
Okay.
I texted one of my store owners for work. I was like, "Hey man, not gonna make it. My neighborhood's still not plowed." And he goes, "Bro, I'm in Florida. It's 80 degrees here." And I was like, "You bastard."
Love
you
it.
Absolute bastard. And I was like taking a break from shoveling. You prick.
2/3 of us are recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. One is over in his house, zooming in live. And you can check us out every single Monday night and find us wherever you get your podcast. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It's at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
And fuck off TikTok. The old new owners, man, we are getting seriously 0 views.
Even after I viewed it.
Yeah.
I viewed it, I hearted it, I reposted it, and it still registers 0 views.
I think I'm now at 16 on the one I did. And Graham, at one point, both of us on Sunday, I had done mine, you had done yours, and we were both sitting at 0 views at the end of the day.
Well, you've been shadow banned.
Well, it's the new fucking corporate overlords that are, taking over. They're just, everyone's complaining about it, that there haven't been getting any views. So just for those of you who do follow us on TikTok, take a second. I appreciate if you all would do this. Obviously, taking time out of your day to do it, but go to our page, find the videos that we've done over the weekend. Give them a quick heart, give them a comment. If you want to just do something like, "Hey, corporate overlords, how about you let this video play?" or anything, favorite, just do all the things, because that is thoroughly annoying, especially considering that a lot of effort goes into doing those. And while Graham and I enjoy doing them, still, it's a lot of effort goes into them. And we built up a pretty good viewership for ourselves with that app, and to then just kind of fucking lose it all is really, really goddamn annoying. Sorry, Russ.
So this is weird. So this is yours. I'm looking at it now. Your first one back from Roatan only has 39.
Yep.
My one from Saturday from the West Ham game, where I did that real quick, just like, holy shit, the fuck's happening?
Right.
Got 915. But your one from yesterday is sitting firmly, or today maybe, is sitting at 21. And my one from yesterday has got nothing. Zero.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's with the new change of
But did it change Saturday night? Like, that's crazy.
It's the new American conservative overlords that have decided, I guess, that talking about footy is too fucking woke, apparently.
Too foreign.
Yeah, it just must be what it is. Anyway, so just
I supported our TikTok.
Yeah, and just take a second. Well, the ice is all over our fucking ground. Be like, say no to ice. Be like, motherfucker, you've been out of my yard. Kind of hard to say no to it right now. But anyways, just if you get a chance, please take a second, give it a little support. We would appreciate it, and would mean a lot to us, especially considering the bullshit that's going on with the app right now. And it's become our main way of talking with you guys. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep passion and love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, the list continues. Got lucky, found this at a Virginia ABC and was able to pick it up this week for the show. So tell us about number 17, please.
So here we've got Lux Rows Small Batch PX Sherry Cask Finish whiskey. This is a bourbon rated 94 by the Whisky Advocates tasting panel. Comes in at 112 proof and should run you around $60. And I imagine you got it for that price since you went to an ABC store, and they normally don't go crazy with their pricing like some independent stores do.
52 with tax.
There you go. And your blurb comes from David Savannah. Of the Whisky Advocate tasting panel. He's the one that did the blurb for Lockley as well, the first whiskey we did on our journey. This one debuted in October 2024, but back then the only way to get it was at the Lux Row Distillery in Bardstown. Earlier this year, it was expanded for sale nationwide. It is a 4-year-old bourbon made with a rye-heavy mash bill, finished for 6 months in casks that held PX Sherry. That's Pedro Jimenez, for anybody that doesn't know what PX Sherry is. It's grippy and flavorful, loaded with baked apple, cinnamon spice, caramel corn, and a long finish reminiscent of a honey cough drop. Not necessarily a glowing final sentence, in my opinion.
No. So, as mentioned, I had to go to a Virginia ABC to find it. There was one Virginia ABC in Northern Virginia that had it. They had 6 bottles. That was it. So, the Bellevue ABC, if you want to go get a bottle locally, they have 5 left. The rest are
as of when you bought it, they had 5 left.
Well, the list had been out for a while and they hadn't sold any.
Oh, true.
6. They had 6, which means they hadn't sold any.
They had a full case, yeah.
It's obviously, as mentioned, it was formerly a distillery only release. This bottle never made its way to Maryland or DC at all. So we had to find it in Virginia. So I don't know how accessible it is. Price point, awesome to be on the list. Innovative, awesome to be on the list. We'll get to the flavor in a second, but what we talk about, fucking availability, man. The whole point of the list is to be able to find this shit, right? Like, at least in the case of the Maker's Mark, yeah, it's way too fucking expensive, but you can find it. Like,
right,
can be found. The Bardstown, very expensive, but you can find it. Like,
right. So our gripe with those is affordability, obviously. Our gripe with those is affordability, because the list, and I'll say it time and time again, and I'm going to say it until they sue us for doing this list without their permission.
Yeah, exactly.
But it needs to be getting people into whiskey is the idea. It's supposed to be things you can find that you might not try because they're actually really quite good.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find them and you can buy them because everyone can afford them. You know, you're talking a $70 bottle and under, really, would be my mind, would be fair.
Right.
And an accessible list. But how many years have we seen a Master's Keep for we get it at wholesale, $250 fucking dollars,
Right.
For one piece of the list. Like, it just
Right.
blows my mind that they continue to put stuff on there. And the one that really did my head in was the Old Fit 17 that year. I was like, what are you doing? What was 17 bottles came to the state of Maryland? Like,
right. And we were lucky enough to find one, and it was a friend who sold it to me, one of my friend stores, and we didn't get friend prices.
No, because he had one bottle.
Yeah, but precisely.
So he made us pay what his shelf price was, which, was very kind of him to give it to us, but it's just, you get somebody that's new, that's reading this list, like, oh, well, I can't have that. Oh, I can't find that. Oh, that's not here. Oh, I can't afford that. Well, they're going back to tequila. They're fuck this whiskey thing. I'm out.
Yeah. Now, on to the taste. Very good that they went with a high rye mash bill to go along with the fortified wine of sherry. That plays well. Pre-show, Mel tried it and went, nah, not for me. Go ahead and have it all. And I can get where it's not for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a big fucking whiskey. Like, proof. It's a big whiskey.
Yeah, it is a big boy. For me, what's good, because he calls out cinnamon spice right away.
Mm-hmm.
I get more of just like allspice. Just, it's not like a straight cinnamon bomb for me. I get more of just that kind of, like, I don't know, like a Chinese five spice almost, like an all encompassing sort of thing. Does the water bring the cinnamon out?
Big time brings out the cinnamon.
Oh, great. Can't wait.
Yeah.
I don't like cinnamon. But I do get a lot of baked apple off of it. I mean, and then the honey, that's spot on. It's not as medicinal as a honey cough drop.
Yeah, good call there. I don't like because it doesn't have an ethanol-y. Ryes can have that ethanol. I mean, sorry, eucalyptus. I said ethanol, but eucalypty kind of mint to it. I don't get that out of this.
Eucalypty mint.
Yeah.
That's how you cure gonorrhea, Sam.
Heard eucalypty mint. Well, I will say one of those things, like
koala bears.
I'm a big fan of eucalyptus. Like, I like the smell of it, and I like the ryes that are more eucalyptic and minty than they are dill pickle briny, right? Because you can, depending on where you're getting your rye from, particularly like everybody knows with MGP, is very much that kind of dill pickle thing going on, where I more prefer the minty eucalyptus kind of thing. And
I prefer to get anything involving brininess at a certain Maryland chili cook-off.
That is some inside baseball, and very, very good. And if you wanted to find out where you could get that inside baseball, Mr. Graham, how do you go about doing it?
Well, first you take 97 South. I'm just kidding. It's patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just sign up to that $1 tier, and you'll get all of our extra content, which is where a lot of these stories from our lives happen. And you get all the inside scoop.
Yeah. All righty, Mr. Graham. Let's have a great show. Also, what else should we always do?
Always remember to drink responsibly, especially if you're outside shoveling snow. You got to stay safe. Heart attacks are real. Have a good show.
Except for we're snowed inside and we got fuck all to do tonight, so let's be irresponsible. Cheers.
Cheers.
Very good. The title race is still on as City and Villa got wins, while the Gunners have their first home defeat to a resurging rival. Manchester City 2, Wolves 0, Villa 2, Newcastle 0, Manchester United 3, Arsenal 2. Gay gets signed and immediately put in to start. Foden and Holland get put on the bench for rest purposes in the lineup.
So Pep said something a little strange, as Pep tends to do, but essentially that Holland needed time to rest his body and clear his mind. I think he hasn't scored in six.
Hmm.
Um, in all competitions, I believe that stat was, unless he got one in the Champions League and they were just talking about Premier League games.
Well, they just
Um,
had an embarrassing loss in the Champions League. I mean,
oh yeah, in his native Norway as well.
a bad loss.
Inside of the Arctic Circle, but they were, I mean, Wolves just simply aren't good enough to deal with them.
Right, of course.
It only took Marmoush 6 minutes to open the scoring. It's a really, really good run, actually, and stealing in front of the defender. I thought Wolves, to their credit, I thought they actually played all right. They had some chances and they limited, for the most part, City's opportunities, but City just have too much firepower. It just wasn't going to happen. But you know, the way Foden and Holland started the season, up until about mid-December or so, maybe a little after that. Um, they were playing excellent. Like Phil Foden, had what was it, 6 goals in 7 games or something,
Hmm.
from midfield, and at one stage, and they've both just kind of fallen off and don't feel like they're meshing with some of the new players that have come in.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not sure. We saw what happened with Jeremy Doku and Jack Grealish. The sharing time didn't really work, and so he
Hmm.
started to stick with just Doku.
Hmm.
He's changed Bernardo Silva's role to accommodate Savinho, but Savinho hasn't really hit the ground running either. So they bring in Semenyo, and it wouldn't surprise me if Savinho was shipped off at some point
Hmm.
this in the next week on loan somewhere, just to get some game time and develop a little bit more.
Well, and that's what I was going to kind of mention there is obviously Pep did a formation change. He went with a 4-1-4-1, which was a little bit different from his normal 4-3-3. And the other big thing, too, is it always seems like this team can just re up. And for some reason, they re up cheaper than everyone else. Like they somehow don't have to pay the premium because both Semedo and Marquei seemingly were going to Liverpool, and suddenly it all gets changed up. And in the case of Semedo, the buyout was the buyout. That's what it was going to cost.
They had the release clause, yeah.
It wasn't a particularly expensive release clause. Remember Doku's release clause was only 40 million when they got him. So you kind of look at all these players that they just seemingly get that are
But
young,
didn't Doku
coming into their prime. They always seem to be like 30 to 45 million, like where everybody else has got to spend
part of that though?
117 for a player.
I think part of that though is because they're coming in to City's kind of football network.
Right.
Wasn't Doku bought from the Belgian team that City owns?
Yes, he was.
Right. So they're essentially selling him to themselves,
Yeah.
basically. So they know what the contract is. They know ultimately what they want him to do. And I'm sure that all of those clubs being feeder clubs, much like we just saw this with Rosenior getting signed from was it Strasbourg or whoever he was managing in France, are owned by Blueco, right? Are owned by
Mhm.
Chelsea's owners. So when now I can't even remember his name, Maresca got sacked. They just kind of promoted from within, essentially, because it's the same fucking company, even though he's managing in a different country and a different team.
Right.
So you've obviously got the city team in New York here, NYCFC. They've got one in Australia. They've got one in Belgium. I believe they own the City Football Group owns an Italian team, but it's kind of the same principle that the Red Bull was doing with Salzburg and Leipzig and a few others as well. New York Red Bulls,
Mhm.
where they have this kind of global brand encompassing many, many teams. And then they can do this. They can kind of skirt the rules or insert whatever clause they see fit because there has to be some sort of transfer fee. And
Mhm.
they need the other club to be able to survive as well. So it's another way to cook the books, in my opinion. What I want to know, in the case of Semenya, like you said, that was just a buyout clause. There's nothing you can do about that. That's unfortunate. Gahey, though, I think Palace were in a position where he wanted to go.
Yeah.
Their chances aren't looking particularly good going into this Europa Conference League playoff at the moment. They're on a slide in the league. And They just decided we need to get something for him. Liverpool obviously couldn't spend the money, probably because of the summer they had, and they're worried that, everyone else, gets charged, something happens to, except for Manchester City. We might be in that boat also.
Right.
As Liverpool. So even the 20 million may have been too much. And then the other thing is you probably would have replaced Kanate, but we've seen some of their other new signings have stop-start, you know, kind of situations
Mm-hmm.
at Liverpool. And Gahey's thinking to himself, you've got Ruben Dias injured, you've got Nathan Ake injured, or whoever the other one was. Vardiol, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Vardiol's injured. He starts immediately. Guaranteed. He's a starter.
Yeah.
Right when he walks in. Right, and we saw that this weekend. He walks through the door and he starts. He also has a better chance of winning silverware at City this year, straight away. And because he's starting for arguably a top three team in the world, his England place isn't going to be under threat.
Right. So, one final question, then I want to move on to the next two games because I don't want to spend too much time on this because it was a pretty straightforward match.
Oh, this is the most Oso game in this segment,
right?
For sure. It's
only here because of the points, because of being in the title hunt, and because we would have started with your game, but I wanted to go with the progression of how the weekend went. Are we starting to see another one of these fucking classic City runs? Is this the start of it?
There's the potential for it, but I still don't think, like I said, Wolves, for all their faults and for losing the game, I thought they actually played okay. And they gave City some problems in this game. I think other teams will do so as well. So, no, I don't think we're going to see another historic City, kind of march to the finish line where they don't lose a game the second half of the season kind of thing. But it's definitely going to be tighter than I thought it was going to be a month ago, for sure.
Moving on to Villa. They get a massive monkey off their back. Let's face it, they do not play well at St. James's Park, which is funny. They lose to a team they always beat at home and then go on the road and beat a team they never beat on the road. But I have to say, convincing fucking win from Villa, even though Newcastle had their chances, especially like right at the start of the game, and then you had the brilliant save from Emmy later on that he tipped away over the bar.
Dude, that first minute though, what is up with Villa? Either wanting to give up a goal or almost giving up a goal in the first minute.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's been a long time since I've studied physics. It was my senior year of high school, actually, or junior year of high school. I did college level physics, junior year of high school, and I'm not sure how Sandro Tonali's effort didn't go in the net.
Oh, at the start of the match, yeah, that was.
I'm not sure of the physics on it, but that math ain't mathing for me.
That was one that the desk had said after the match was over. They were like, if that goes in, it's a goal of the month, and everybody's talking about it. Like, how does it go in? And honestly, after that, Newcastle seemed to step off, and it wasn't that it was this like monumental effort from Villa. It was just the right people doing the right things. Onana back was massive. You need to have Onana or Kamara in that midfield. I tend to think that is why they lost to Everton, because they didn't have that structure in the midfield. It allows Tielemans to kind of go and pass more, which was big.
And then also, like I said on Monday, was losing McGinn that early. Completely changed the game when Bogart had to come in. It completely shook that midfield up, and they couldn't really provide themselves a platform to keep going against Everton. And I think that's as you say, it's a huge difference here. But they got the wake-up call. I think the change, it's a sliding doors moment, right? That goal goes in, you go, fuck. We have the history of not doing well here. Blah, blah, blah.
Here comes Newcastle. They're going to roll right over Villa. That's exactly.
But to survive that, and then you have the structure of that midfield, And Morgan Rogers was firing. He had 3 or 4 shots on target. When Diaz sometimes goes anonymous, he stepped up to the plate.
Hell of a goal. That shot.
They just seemed to wrestle control away and completely took the St. James crowd out of it. So we've got a few stadiums now, right?
Oh, even Sancho played decent. Like,
right.
He didn't play bad.
Like Forest aren't very good, but their stadium is still intimidating, right? Leeds stadium is intimidating. Newcastle were the ones that kind of brought that back into fashion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A couple of seasons ago, where St. James Park just becomes this fortress. And if you take the crowd out of it,
upper deck in the corner, completely away from the action.
Right. So if you can take them to get that crowd out of it, it's a huge leveler. And Villa were able to do that. They controlled, after that Tonali chance, they controlled the next about 12, 15 minutes and just sucked the life out of that stadium. And then they used that to then move forward and fucking get going.
And we briefly touched on this last week with Newcastle, but they seem lost. I don't really sure Eddie Howe has the answers. And I mean, ultimately, this project can't progress if it is not in fucking Europe. Like, the way PSR is set up, no matter how much money the PIF posse has, they can't spend it in that stadium because there's only so much dollars you're going to bring in. You can't sell a fucking hotel to yourself. You can't magically make these massive commercial deals happen like Chelsea and City. You can't sell 1 million jerseys to China every fucking year like Manchester United do. Like, as Newcastle, you simply can't do it. So there has to be success. But
it's not just that. The other, what they could do, which they haven't done, and I'm actually quite surprised by, it's probably because the players are saying no. But you take somebody like Kieran Trippier, who's in the twilight of his career but still has something to offer. Mm-hmm. Sell him to the Saudi club you own, where PSR is not a thing, for £70 million.
Yeah.
Where on a 1-year deal, fuck it, you finish your career here, but Newcastle gets $70 million. You take Guimaraes, $120 million, even though he's only worth $60, and you pad your books that way. I mean, but I'm really surprised they haven't done it. And I think it's probably because the players, I think they want to. They if I figured it out, they have to know that loophole,
right?
So it's got to be the players blocking those moves, right? I mean, but that's the only way they're going to be able to pad their coffers enough to spend the kind of money that they think they want to be able to spend. Because you're absolutely right. I mean, it's a fun club. It's a classic Premier League club. Everyone knows who they are, the famous black and white stripes. But you're absolutely 100% correct. You're not tapping into the Chinese market like that.
Right.
You're not getting those jersey sales. We love our boys in the Toon Army. They're still 20 strong, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's great. And we love them, and that's awesome, and they're passionate, and it's wonderful. But they're still 25 people strong. So even if they bought 3 shirts each, you're not making a dent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, that's the scale of things that they need just isn't going to happen.
Right.
But back to the game, I mean, you're absolutely right. Jadon Sancho provided an excellent outlet. Actually did his defensive doggies as well. I was really surprised by that.
Hell, we got a Leon Bailey sighting, and he came in and offered something. Here's the thing we know about Villa is you can look at them and go, all right, they're weak here, they're missing pieces here. They're going to find a way. They're either going to recall, bring in new loans, like now Tammy Abraham is on the books. Lose Malin, get Tammy Abraham. He will do exactly what you need him to do. He will come off the bench and probably get you 7 or 8 goals between now and the rest of the season in all competitions. He will do exactly what you need him to do. And
but he'll give Ollie Watkins a break, which is huge.
Right. And I just feel like with Villa, we're starting to get used to this is what they're going to be able to manage, right? Now they are already through to the 16. They are safe advanced in Europa, which is massive. That means they could take it easy, right? They could take
for a couple of weeks,
right? Because as long as they end up in the top half, they get the break, they get the bye, which that's all that matters. They're going to be fine. So you just know this team is going to get the pieces they need, and it's going to be something that Unai Emery very specifically is looking for, and it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg to pull it off. Is the big thing too.
Yeah, and the other piece to that, especially financially for them, is with what their form has been in the league, right? Now, you get a couple million more for every place you finish up, right? There is a title challenge on. That's why we're talking about these 3 games together, right? So if you have a week where you go, say it's another 3-game week, and you bookend a Europa League win in the round of 16 with 2 Premier League losses, and Arsenal have pulled away a little bit and City have distanced themselves. Villa have a good enough squad. They are the favorites for the Europa League right now.
Oh, absolutely they are.
So you're currently in a great spot to qualify for the Champions League anyway. But you have a back door where you don't have a challenge from somebody like Tottenham. You don't have a challenge from somebody like Manchester United. You have a couple of big teams in the competition, but you're easily the favorites to win that competition, right? And you have a specialist as a manager to win that competition. Right. You also have now a squad that has the experience of playing in the Champions League, of playing on those high pressure nights. And look how they performed against PSG in the knockouts last season, right? At Villa Park, right? So you've got the recipe to go on and win that competition. That's also going to be the difference between 3rd and 4th or 3rd and 2nd. Prize money in the Premier League, I'd rather win the Europa League and finish in 3rd or finish in 4th or whatever, right?
And still be in Champions League.
Still be in the Champions League anyway, and you make more money on the back end of it because you're on TV more, you're blah, 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 all these various things. Because the talk last summer was how hard it was going to be for Villa to bring players in, partially because of their wage structure. Because remember, a lot of these players were signed before they had European football. So they had to give them extra money to get them to agree to go there, if that makes sense. So, their wage structure is a little bit out of whack. But I think doing that would be a massive, massive boost in into their coffers. Now, obviously, a sustained title push is getting them on TV more. It's getting them more exposure, more fans, more this, selling more shirts, and they're another classic European team. I mean, they've been around for fucking ages, and one of the few clubs that has lifted the European Cup at the time, but lifted that trophy before. You know what I mean?
They're one of the original 12, and in comparisons to Newcastle, these 2 teams are at the same at the same thank you very much. I appreciate that, my good friend.
Precipice, I think actually it is.
Both there, but the difference is one is having the success and the other is not. And you're going to be able to see how one is going to be able to spend and the other is not. Answer me this question, Mr. Graham. Why does your team in first place not want to play games and try to win them? Why do they always want to not lose?
I heard somebody say over the weekend, this morning, actually, I heard somebody say that it looks like Arsenal are trying to practice picking a lock, because there was 3 or 4 times we had counterattacks or fast breaks on that it seemed like we circled back to allow the other team, to allow Manchester United to recover and sit in their low block and then figure out how to break them down, which just go score the goal. I think this game screamed out for Gabriel Martinelli.
It was like watching your brother when he played indoor for us. He'd beat a guy, pull the ball back and go, I need to beat him again, because beating him once isn't good enough. And inevitably he would get tackled and lose the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Playing last on a weekend like that against a huge rival, probably the most Premier League game you'll find. Yeah. If you polled people and said, give me the most Premier League fixture you can think of, it's probably that one.
Right.
Because of the title challenges of Wenger and Sir Alex and the rivalry just in general and all that kind of stuff. I said it last Monday. This is a horrible time to play Manchester United. They're coming off the result again in their derby, obviously, that no one expected. All good feelings and a full week's rest, where we had a trip to enter and they actually tried in that game, and because they needed it, so
Yeah.
we had to be on. We walked out 3-1 winners, but we were tired, and it's showing. I mean, it's just it's one of those results that can happen. Also, Michael Carrick has a history of beating us.
Mhm.
I heard many pundits say whoever comes in, and it happened to be Carrick after Amram was gone, was probably just going to simplify shit. And that's exactly what they've done. They've just simplified things, and they're allowing their very expensive talent to just shine. And one little tweak where Patrick Dorgu plays a little bit further forward and Bruno Fernandes plays a little bit further forward. And look what they've done in the last 2 games, right? I mean, it makes total sense. We haven't been very convincing anyway. I found it interesting that Gabriel Jesus's recent good form was rewarded with a start in this game. I said that Gyökeres could have used a couple of weeks out of the team, just get out of the spotlight, let people stop talking about him.
Right.
But then he comes on against Inter and scores a brilliant goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, shit, maybe he could do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you made the investment in him too. Let's face it. It was here's the things. Everybody said, all right, well, if Arsenal has a proven striker up top, they can win the title. You went out and got it. Well, if Arsenal has more depth in case they have injuries, they can go out and win a title. You did it. They're all healthy. You have everyone. I said this about last week's match.
Everyone except Calafiori.
Yeah,
everyone except Calafiori and Kai Havertz.
Yeah, and Havertz is on the bench, so he's almost there.
For 8 months out. It's been a lot to get him back like match fit. But it's the point. It's not the point. This is essentially a derby, right? And these results can happen. And I said it last Monday. I predicted it. So this is going to be a horrible time to play Manchester United. We haven't been particularly convincing, and it is that depth and it is that quality that we have that has gotten us over the line in the last few games, right? That have gotten us wins, whether it be in the Champions League, the league, or the FA Cup. This was just a bad time to play them. They've got a ton of good vibes around there right now because they've been released from Amarim's prison. I hate giving up a goal right after halftime. You know this, but it was more the concentration in closing the space down than it was giving up the goal itself, because how can you stop a strike like that? David Raya had no fucking chance. It was an absolute world-class finish from Patrick Dorgu. The problem was that Zubamendi and subsequently I think Saliba was the defender in front of him, just didn't close him down fast enough. We were just off the pace, off the boil. But here's the thing, right? Every team on the way to a title has a blip, except for that Chicago Bulls team or that Golden State Warriors team.
Mm-hmm.
Every team has a blip on the way to a title. Every single one of them. That's why you build up a 6, 7, 8, 9-point lead before that blip happens.
Well, I hate to ask.
We built in a cushion to be able to have a result like this. The thing I'm happy about is it wasn't against Fulham. It wasn't against Brighton. It wasn't against teams that we should be beating. That's where in previous seasons, that's why I'm not too terribly concerned yet. In previous seasons, our title challenge fell down to a Graham Potter-led fucking West Ham.
Right.
Remember? They fell down to Fulham at home. What?
Mm-hmm.
They fell down to fucking Brighton because we got people sent off. Like, this is a result that could happen to literally anybody, including Bayern Munich, including, losing to Manchester United. There's no shame in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm not panicking yet.
Got it. Now, do you have Malort with you, or do you have to bag it?
Let me look in the cabinet, but I don't think I have any Malort at the house. I may have to bank it for Monday.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure.
Well, unless we don't get Snowmageddon Part 2. And Snowmageddon Part 3.
Snowmageddon the sequel.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll make sure I get some.
Yeah, I do not have any Malort at the house.
Okay, well then I will make sure if you're not able to be in studio next Monday, you'll have it to do it then. And the second thing, and I leave it with you on this, Mr. Graham, and I hate to ask you this question, but it is universal and it comes to your team. It has to be asked. is this the start of you bottling it?
No, I don't think so. No.
The bottom of the table has a battle on its hands as 17th and 16th get surprise. I'm sorry, 18th and 17th get surprising wins, and 16th gets a draw. West Ham 3, Sunderland 1, Forest 2, Brentford 0, Leeds 1, Everton 1. Irons came out fucking swinging early on Saturday morning. You did a TikTok about it that nobody watched, that literally 8s of 9s of people got to view. But that's its own problem. What the fuck, West Ham? Now you decide to care?
That's why I felt compelled to do the halftime check-in for a match I hadn't seen yet. Because I saw the score, I was like, dude, what?
Oh my God.
I had Sunderland or draw as part of my bet, and under 3.5 because goals have been starved for both teams. And I wake up to this, the most composed display from West Ham we've seen this season. I mean, absolutely insane. And just what a start, right? Inside 15 minutes, Somerville gets a great goal. Strong towering header from a relatively small player. I mean, I'm really not sure what the Sunderland defense was doing. But then also drawing a penalty. It's a bit soft, yeah, sure, but leaving a leg in and therefore giving the referee a decision to make is always a bad thing.
Right.
How many times do we have to say it? How many times has every coach ever said it? If you give the referee a decision to make, you're giving him a chance to fuck you over.
Right. You might not like the answer he gives you if you
exactly
give him that chance to make that decision.
And he definitely caught him. Did he go down somewhat easily? Yeah. But I mean, at that point, you can't get out of that, especially in a day of VAR. You can't get out of that.
And then in the half, that Fernandez goal was fucking.
What a strike that was.
Oh, man.
I mean,
was that a
goodness
hit.
Gracious.
An absolute rip. And from there, yeah, sure. You know what? Sunderland got a goal and they made it competitive. They held control, but Nuno did his normal Nuno thing. He tightened it up and we're just like, yeah, you're not getting in here. And the defense played tight, and there was never any real scoring threat at all, and they moved on. It was very simple.
So Brabi got another goal, which is huge for his confidence and good for him. But
makes you wonder too, is Isidore going to be sticking around, or are they going to try to move him? Because it feels like Brabi might have earned the spot.
Yeah, but Isidore just came back from the African Cup of Nations. So he hasn't been available to play. I think you will see him start to slide back into the team.
But also Sunderland
over the next coming weeks.
Remember, Sunderland loves to sell young players if there's interest in them and they know they can get a lot of money.
Well, that's true.
You look at Bellingham, the younger brother, that's exactly the guy you think you're bringing up to the Premier League. And they were like, somebody came along and asked for him and offered the right price tag. They were like, get stepping. We'll figure it out. We'll find more pieces. We'll be good. And you kind of feel like that could happen with Isidore. Like let's face it, some teams that might be desperate for a striker, Yeah. I mean, sure, Barry is starting to find some form at Everton, but they might be in for another striker. And if somebody wants to pay you an inflated price for that player, could happen,
Absolutely. I can't believe the manner in which Sunderland got straight sucker punched in this game. Being without, pause. I know this will sound weird, and I recognize that after my up and down history. But the leadership, composure, and calmness of Granit Xhaka. Without that, Sunderland seemed oh, you want to hit me? We're going to go toe-to-toe again. And just didn't establish enough control in that first half to bring it back.
Well, and also,
you know what I mean?
But also in that player's defense, you got to give him a break from time to time. You can't.
No, Hunter, absolutely you do. And
the
you
point
figure
of a veteran player is you use them in doses. You don't just lean on him and go horse, run.
Yeah, but he's done that.
Yeah.
all season. He hasn't really had a rest. And you think West Ham is probably the game that you should be able to rest him in,
Exactly.
right? With the way they've been performing as a whole this season, but they're on a decent run of form, West Ham. I mean, they're making the relegation battle pretty interesting.
So
And if I was Forest, I'd be nervous.
So finally, the final thing with West Ham is now that's 2 in a row, and also for West Ham, you got to be kicking yourself in the ass for not getting a result against Forest when you played them 4 weeks ago. Like you're just like that was such.
They could be out of the relegation zone.
Exactly what I was about to say. They could be out of it. Now they play early and they force serve. They go, okay, Forest, what you gonna do?
Yep.
Oh, we're going to go to a building where Brentford always wins at home, and we're going to fucking like easy 2-0 walk away with them, you know, score one early, score one late. Let's call it a day. We're out the door. Like the Bees got diced in their own building. They got diced in their own fucking building.
They definitely did. And what's really sad is you saw probably those that were there. It didn't come through on the television, but those in attendance probably got to see a big old dicey boner. With a long ball turning into a goal from a player just bullying the defense in Awoniyi to go add the insurance goal late on.
That was also massive because Awoniyi hasn't scored in over a calendar year. So him scoring, particularly with Chris Wood being out, that was big. I'll talk about it later about the Palace game and the penalty that got called there. But I said this a few weeks ago. I'm kind of lost on what the handball rule is because for me, the Igor Jesus goal, it hits him in the sleeve part of his arm, but he uses his arm and where the ball hit him to turn the ball and set him up for his goal. And if that was a defender, you would say it was a handball and that it was deliberate, but it's an attacker.
Unless it's against Arsenal at the City Ground, yes.
But it's an attacker, so it's not. And it's just like, what the fuck is the handball rule anymore?
It's whatever they feel like it is on the day.
It's so fucking baffling.
Seems to be the thing.
I've seen that called a handball. I've seen that, and it's
absolutely
not away from the goal. It was a good goal. It was a good counterattack. But I see that called a handball. So why not here? Why isn't it called a handball here?
I couldn't tell you. You have to get in the mind of referees, which is a scary fucking place to be in because they make a lot of decisions I don't agree with. Brentford, however, on the other side of the ledger, for everything that Forest did okay, if not bleeding into good, Brentford were wasteful. They had more possession. They had more possession in this game. They had more shots in this game. They only managed to put one of those 10 shots that they had on target, and 8 or 9 of the 10 shots were from 8 yards or in.
Well, I think
Forrest got a couple of good blocks in, but there was a lot that just fizzled out for goal kicks and were dragged wide. And the things that Brentford have been so good at this season is being ruthless rather, and
counterattacking.
Counterattacking, but just being efficient, I guess, is probably the word. Not necessarily coming up with a boatload of chances, but 4 out of 7 shots are on target and they score 3 goals. Like they've been completely ruthless and efficient in their finishing. And this was the first time I've seen them just be absolutely piss poor in front of goal.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, the final match that happened today.
Said ruthful. That's not even a word.
And this match would have been an oh-so match also if it wasn't for the fact that it plays directly into the bottom of the table talk. For Leeds, they then have to go to Everton and figure out a way to get at least a point, if not all 3, after seeing, hey, we have this comfortable 7-point lead. We got to watch out for what both West Ham and Forest have just done. They got wins we didn't expect them to get. And they go into Everton and they have an amazing first half. And the one thing I would hold against them is that they didn't take advantage and score more because Everton couldn't have played worse. Like they played great. Calvert-Lewin, of course, put one off the post, and my heart skipped a beat because I'm thinking, of course, the most Everton that thing ever would be is him scoring. Supporters booing him. The man literally scored a goal that ensured our survival. Like, he had the game-winning goal against Palace, the second to last game of the season. Him and Doucouré in back-to-back seasons scored goals that literally kept the team up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get booed.
They shouldn't get booed.
Sorry, period. And they don't get booed. They don't get booed. We're still in the league because of those two guys. They get, right. You don't need to fucking root and standing ovation, but they get polite fucking claps. And that's all there is.
Yeah.
Like, but
I think that part of the way that you leave a club matters, right? Mm-hmm. And asking for that much money after being essentially injured for 4 seasons and having a good 6 months is a bit rich, right?
That's
and it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, especially in a working class city like Liverpool, where those people work themselves to the bone for, a normal person's wage, and this guy hasn't played, but he's collecting 40 grand a week. Like, fuck you. Like, you don't need a raise on that. What have you done to prove that? So and the scouts love to take the piss as well. So it makes total sense to me why he got booed. Like, if Emmanuel Adebayor walked through the doors of the Emirates, he's getting absolute fucking pelters. Because after us, he played for City, Tottenham, and Real Madrid. Right. And when he scored for Tottenham, remember, he ran, it might have been City, ran the length of the pitch and knee slid in front of the Arsenal supporters.
It was Spurs that he did that with.
It was Spurs, yeah. So it's like once a Gooner, always a Gooner goes right out the fucking window, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that guy.
Now,
so I get it. Like, I understand where they're coming from with that.
Everton get a lot of big pieces back. Of course, immediately slotted in Idrissa Gay. By the way, Graham, 36 years old. Ask me how many minutes he didn't play in AFCON for Senegal.
Probably played every minute.
If the answer is 0, you would be right.
Yeah.
He played every
fucking minute of the game.
Every fucking minute. Gets back to the team. No break. Go right in. Short thing, coach. He's 36 years old.
Yeah. I told you, it took me 3 hours and I had to take multiple breaks to shovel my driveway. And this dude's out here in the Premier League game running like it's going out of style after just getting off of a plane.
After the deplorable first half from Everton, Dewsbury Hall comes back from his hamstring injury, gets subbed in, and the big one, Jared Branthwaite enters the match. And
first time this season, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And
or since the first game of the season or something.
No, whole season. He got injured in
the
really?
Season. Okay.
So
I gotcha.
They went to a back 3, eventually subbed out Patterson and moved O'Brien back out to the outside and went to a 4 later. But it changed everything. The match completely it was entirely Everton in the second half. And Tiano Barry, another goal. He's now 4 in the last 5 and seemingly on fire. I will say I very much have enjoyed his celebration now. Every time he scores, he stops in front of everybody and just kind of goes, Who me? Did I do that? Was that?
I know, but the problem is he has a dumb face. So he just looks dumb doing it.
I think it adds to it, the dumb face with it, to be quite honest.
Well, of course it does, but it's just like his eyes are small and too close together. Like, he just looks dumb.
Yeah.
So when he's pointing at it looks like he's genuinely asking, "Did I do that?"
Well, the guy,
yes, God, that was you.
The guy they signed to become a future striker for the club is starting to finally bed in and really starting to work at the club.
Well, he is quite young. He is quite young, right? It was always going to take him a little bit to settle down.
Yeah.
And you could see like his movement and I mean, he was working hard. He was
doing all the things right. Just not the ball wasn't going in the net.
Right. And it was one of those kind of youthful exuberance. Maybe he was trying too hard. And now he seems to be letting chances come to him. He's learned a little bit of that patience where, you see somebody like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a striker recently that held off hitting the ball for a split second, let the defender shift his body weight and then strike. Probably what Mateus Cunha did to us. To be honest, for that third goal. is just let the defender get in the way of the goalkeeper. Yeah, I probably could shoot this side right now, but the goalkeeper could see it the whole way, and I'm 25 yards out from goal. But if I let this defender step in front, I can use him to unsight the goalkeeper, and it's an easier finish. And you're starting to see Tino Berry temper his run a little bit. You're starting to see him do things a little differently and just find that patience that's opening him up to have this great scoring run that he's on. Absolutely.
So, final question: who's surviving? Because West Ham is now 5 points behind Forest and 6 points behind Leeds. Who's surviving? Who's going down?
Oh, I think Burnley and Forest, not Forest. Burnley and Wolves are obviously gone.
Right. It's
I
who's
think
the last team?
I think they're definite. I haven't seen anything from Forest yet that's going to convince me that they're going to sustain anything to stay in the Premier League. Leeds are doing what y'all did, really. They're unbeaten in 9, I think it is now, 10 games.
Yeah.
In a row.
Their schedule is about to get really hard.
Yeah, but they're putting points on the board. I mean, how many times did I say this when Dice was your manager, right? They're putting points on the board, regardless of whether or not they're wins. They're getting every single point that they can at the moment. And this game very much could have turned on that late on.
Right after Barry scored, gotta put one off the post like a minute later. So it's like it could have gone the wrong way.
When I said earlier about the Stadium of Light, about St. James Park, about these stadiums that are seemingly are properly being a 12th man to their teams, the Hill Dickinson has been integral to Everton's success this season, in my opinion.
Well, they've made a couple of really bad losses there, but
they've made it just as intimidating as Goodison. Y'all had a couple of shit losses at Goodison as well, but what team doesn't, right? But for the most part, it's a difficult place to go play. It's an intimidating place to go play. And I lost $5 on your team because I heard that atmosphere on my phone as I'm shoveling the driveway and went, you know what? I think Everton's going to go get the winner. And they were plus 340 to do so. And I was like, I can make a quick $15.
But that's not the question. Who's going down? Give me a name.
It's Nottingham Forest, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to have enough to get over the line.
I think there's a team now that's only 7 points safe of the drop that is falling like a stone, and we'll talk about them in OSO. Rounding out the rest of the league in OSO, that happened. Burnley 2, Dr. Spurs 2, Tottenham. We'll get to that joke. Fulham 2, Brighton 1, Bournemouth 3, Liverpool 2, and Chelsea 3, Palace 1. Even Dr. Spurs can't get Burnley a win. Like, come on. Like, Dr. Spurs helped end Forest losing streak. They helped end Bournemouth's losing streak. Like, they help everybody's losing streak. And all Burnley could manage to do was get a draw.
Yeah, but still. I mean, Spurs, I don't know what's with them. Their forward line has to be the shittest decent forward line in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Solanke's back, so once he gets
but still, once again, against a newly promoted team who's currently in the relegation zone. Granted, they're at home, fine, but Spurs play better on the road. It's their 2 center backs that have to rescue them because they allowed Burnley to grow back into the game. Spurs took the lead and fucked it off again.
Mm-hmm.
It is just not a recipe for success. And really, if Forest weren't that bad, I might consider, Tottenham could be the ones going down because they're fucking off left, right, and fucking center.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think we've sealed the fate for Burnley with this, right? Like if they had gotten a win, we might be saying, maybe
there's a chance.
Right?
I mean, there's still a platform here. This is the hard part for teams of various sizes, right? Despite Spurs' form, there's still a name and there's still a scalp to 60% of the Premier League.
Right.
Anyone really that's traditionally from 12th down, if you beat Tottenham or draw Tottenham, that's a good result for you no matter what they're doing, right?
Right.
But the manner in which they were controlling the play, Burnley, and the manner in which they came back just in general. I mean, Lyle Foster had 14 opportunities to score that one goal in the span of about 12 seconds.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Just that's like, oh, but fucking, we're good here, lads. No problem. It's got to feel like two points dropped, right? It was a bullet header, but the saves Dubravka was pulling out early on. He had to be alert early and was very fucking good at it.
If they go down, it's not because of Dubravka. He's done his job.
He's done his bit, but it's just I don't know. Tottenham think they're a big club, don't they? But then they do shit like this.
It seems like it. Let's keep it.
And then all of them want to turn around on the internet and laugh at me because Arsenal lost to Manchester fucking United. And then Tottenham, this is the result you're going to laugh at me over on that weekend? Come on.
Yeah. So I want to kind of keep it rolling because the last two deserve a little bit of conversation, and I don't want to go for an hour and a half tonight. Another come from behind win fueled by Harry Wilson. There is some words out there that people read that there are teams that are really interested in Harry Wilson. If I am Fulham, sell him for every fucking dollar you can get because this form ain't fucking lasting with this guy.
No.
So whatever. Somebody wants to give you 30 million, send his ass packing immediately. like, hey,
his last month and a half, we can probably get 55 for him.
Be like, dude, thank you for all the help. You did great. Get the fuck out. Get what you can for him and move on. But again, pat on the back to him. And for Fulham, their run of form has just been like literally Marco Silva just goes, hey, Harry, go win the game for us. That's what it's seemingly.
That's been the plan. Well, and there was none of that in sight in the first 18 minutes or so.
Oh, no.
It was there was a kind of some soft petting and stuff, but it took 18 minutes of feeling each other up, and we were finally ready for some football cunnilingus because the chances came thick and fucking fast after that, right?
Yeah,
it's you're messing around, bang. Soon as that first shirt comes off, you're right in. You know what I'm saying?
First
play's over now.
Like that.
Like that, instant. Yeah, we're skipping second, motherfucker. We gave you that base. No problem at all.
No dry hump in here. We're getting right to business.
Yeah. Both defenses wise to that danger, though, until Ayari rifled home. But everything sprung into life, right, because of that. And there were chances either side. Both sets of defenders played very well, I thought. Both goalkeepers played very well, I thought. And it wasn't until Chukwueze equalized in the 72nd minute, and that's when the tide really shifted fully into Fulham's favor. And Brighton just didn't know what to do after that. It seemed they didn't really muster another chance after that happened. And a very special free kick hit extraordinarily well. You still would have to say the goalkeeper needs to be doing better because he got both hands to it. But it was too powerful and ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah, and for me, I said it in the TikTok that 5 people watched. That
you're so bitter. You're a TikTok star
because it was really filming on TikTok. So that at the end of the first half, it was like Brighton's playing well. This is a back and forth match, but you've got to expect more from informed Fulham at home. And it was just a matter of getting that goal. And once that goal happened, the shift completely changed. And for me, the one biggest criticism that I would probably have about Brighton, and I don't want to just chalk it up to youth, because I don't think that youth is just the players on the pitch, because they got plenty of veteran players on that club, on the practice field. So like a guy like Milner probably isn't playing a ton, but he's around that club. So like they have, Welbeck and Milner and Duff, like they've got plenty of guys who are there kind of, I mean, Dunk, not Duff, there as a veteran influence. I feel maybe it's a little bit on the coach, like that he just can't seem to get them to see out a full game, especially when it's not a big opponent. They seem to be ready for a big opponent, but like Fulham on the road with a 1-0 lead, that is an equal counterpart. That's a game you got to go out and at worst,
and it's also a game Fulham normally fuck off, right?
Yeah.
It's also a game Fulham normally fuck off. So I think part of the problem is, right, and I'm not sure how many changes they made from their last lineup, but clubs like Brighton and Brentford, this is, I think, part of the reason why they can't push on sometimes, is like that Greek kid that had the overhead kick last weekend. I had never heard of him before. Right. He may have had a couple of games this season. It's the same problem that Chelsea ran into when they first started buying up everybody out of nowhere and decided to be a really rich Brighton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's never really a settled 11. You have new pieces coming in all the time, it feels like.
Right.
And regardless of that veteran influence and regardless of, kind of the tactics or this or that, if you're changing 2-3 players a game, or you have a player that's never played in the Premier League before, or they just don't have it yet. It's something you need a sustained run to really understand and truly get behind and figure out. And it just seems like some of these teams with their model, which works, right? I mean, they're good enough; they're going to stay in the league again, right? They're not in danger of getting relegated, but they're not really threatening the European places anymore.
Precisely.
Is you're going to end up being like Palace, perennially 11th through 13th.
Right. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the last two games, because these are the ones that are really kind of worth talking about. And it's not so much the goals. And if you want to talk about the goals in the Bournemouth-Liverpool match, of course, feel free to. For me, it's more the storyline. The 5 stages of grief. For Liverpool, we are now on, I guess, the blaming stage, where all they do is just blame everyone but their actual selves. Because when this match was over, a lot of excuses about why they lost and how, because they're Liverpool, I guess when one of their players go down, teams should just stop and pick up the ball and then go to a knee and pray for the recovery of said player. And I mean, I hate to say it so bluntly, Graham, for a hard man, when did Van Dijk become such a bitch?
I mean, he is the Dutch tulip.
Moment
of silence. Thank you.
Fuck him. He's a bitch. God, I mean, he's this whiny excuse. Mind you, there are people who go, oh yeah, better than Rio Ferdinand. You know what Rio Ferdinand would have never done? Fucking bitch. You know what Rio Ferdinand would have done? Played on a fucking broken knee.
He also would take the Saudi coin in a wait, he already did that.
Yeah, I just.
So this game,
classic hardman defenders of the Premier League, and people are trying to, and I know we're at the tail end of his career, but even those older players at the end of their career went out still being the fucking grizzled old fucking hard bastards that they were. And Van Dijk is just fucking soft, man. He's fucking soft.
Yeah, but I think it's also partially that he's Dutch. That helps.
Literal people.
But it also helps the fact that Liverpool seemingly have the referees on their side from time to time. Mm-hmm. So my take from this was this game kind of exposed everything that's brilliant and everything shit with Liverpool at the same time.
Yeah, I don't disagree. That's an excellent assessment.
But the biggest piece is that they actually can be entertaining when the referee isn't licking their fucking taint.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson reacts first to a Adam Scott shot that was saved and fucking and gets the game going. That really brought the game to life, right? It dragged Liverpool out a bit. It opened up space for both sides. Bournemouth gave them confidence that they were riding the wave of the crowd. But as you say, Liverpool are looking for the referees to help them. And this was right, that handball against Forest with Arsenal. What I say last week, I could complain a lot about this. I think it was the wrong call. The player gloated about it on social media afterwards, said, but I am not going to make an excuse like Liverpool supporters do. I said that on the show last week, right? It's a call that could have gone either way, and it didn't go my way, so it is what it is, even though I disagreed with it. What got me, though, was just 7 minutes later, you've got Jimenez coming through and doubling the lead. Now, what I worry about for Bournemouth is losing Semenyo, right? We obviously well documented the defensive changeover. And then you're playing Liverpool, right? Cody Gakpo's no fucking slouch, right? Mo Salah, despite his bad form this season, is no fucking slouch. He's still probably one of the better players in the world. You'd still talk about him in a top 20, top 25 conversation, despite his kind of bad form this season. Szoboszlai has been excellent, right?
There is an argument to be made for him as Premier League player of the season, because if it wasn't for him, Liverpool would not be where they are.
Being 10th. Yeah. They'd be in 10th.
Like he has literally, how we talk about Harry Wilson just goes and wins games every week. Arnie Slot looks at Szoboszlai and goes, hey, how's the lower back feeling today? You ready to put 10 guys on your back?
These other fuckers aren't doing anything. Yeah, exactly. It was fun. So it was Van Dijk that halved the lead right before halftime. What I found enjoyable is I was checking through to see if my real money bets were doing anything on FOTMob and checking stats and stuff. Is Van Dijk's goal was rated as being scored with other body parts. So I thought he put the meat and potatoes behind it. As we've seen a few times, happen to Tucker Dome on our team once or twice where somebody scored with their old cock and balls. And so I was very excited to watch the highlights for this match and see what happened. And shame it just came off his shoulder. Because I thought other body parts was going to be something fun and glorious, but it just wasn't.
Oh, by the way, how soon before we hear, Slot look at Dominic Szoboszlai and just go, you fancy a game in the net this week?
Yeah.
You pull that one up for it.
Yeah.
But let's face it, it comes down to the end of the match, right? And the long throw, and Van Dijk misses the ball, and the daft little touch for the goal. And then Van Dijk looks to the ref for like, I got pushed. You look at the replay and it's his own fucking man that knocked him.
Yeah, I mean, so he probably doesn't know that. And at least he didn't punch himself in the chest and dive like the Lincoln City keeper a couple of weeks ago. You know what I mean?
Graham.
Still a punk ass.
Graham.
He's still a punk ass. Don't get me wrong.
Give it a week. Remember, Liverpool, offended by everything, ashamed of nothing. Remember that. Give it
fair
time.
Dues.
Give it time. Van Dijk will figure out a way to try to foul himself to get a call.
Adley stabbed home, obviously a rather acute angle. But and that's exactly what it was just a stabbed finish. It was one of those just kind of toe poke, didn't even follow through. Ball comes over Allison's leg. Nobody can get to it. Finished into the far corner. It was fucking glorious. But what and this is more of what I get mad about. Like in-game stuff, everybody's emotions are high. You look like a punk. You're trying to get any advantage you can from your, from whatever position you find yourself in. So you yell at the ref. I appealed for things that I knew I did wrong or that didn't happen. Right? We all do it. Every defender throws their arm up for offsides, knowingly that it's not, just to put a hint of doubt in the assistant's mind. All of that kind of stuff happens. So that angers me far less, right? Now that like the surrounding of the referee is a problem. I don't like that. That
annoys the shit out of me.
But the appealing for things and saying stuff mid-game and all that kind of stuff is kind of just part and parcel of how it all works. What I hate is Van Dijk. I'm not sure if Salah did it or not, but there was another player with Van Dijk and Arne Slot involved in a fucking very public 12 to 15-minute conversation after the final whistle with the officials on the field. And at one point, somebody had their finger in their mouth, like, "You're not doing us justice," kind of thing. It's like, where's Off Your Pop at? Bring that guy back. Where's that referee?
Exactly.
Right?
Like,
fuck off, mate.
All Ancelotti went is, "Hey, look, I didn't agree with the call." And he went, "Off your pop, red card." Like, where's that for them? Like, I mean, we all know this from the Mourinho days of Chelsea, where legitimately the entire team would surround the referee. And
I mean, look at City nowadays. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah. It's
but the biggest thing for me, like, just especially as the manager, right? Especially as the manager, that conversation should be happening in the tunnel or over near the dressing rooms. You should be having that conversation behind closed doors if you really think something was wrong. And if you feel like something was really wrong, you should go the Forest and Arsenal route and issue an open letter on social media and do it that way. That's how you get shit done.
So, final match, and this isn't really
absolute cunts.
It was hysterical. The way they lost was fucking hysterical. I laughed aloud, and I will hold my final thought about that match till we get to the betting segment. Now, I don't really necessarily want to talk X's and O's in this match either, other than very simply put, this match is based on one very simple thing. Caicedo is very, very lucky to not have seen a second yellow and get sent off. And Wharton is unlucky that he got the second yellow and got sent off, because frankly, both of them should. Like, I mean, Wharton deserved his second yellow, but he got it on Caicedo. And then you're just sitting there like, that fucking cunt shouldn't have been on the pitch in the first place.
Yeah. I also think the yellow card was a little harsh, only because I have some sympathy. He was pulling out of the challenge. His momentum carried him into the player, but he never extended his leg. He went down to extend his leg like so, right? His left leg, but he kept it to the side and bent.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't extend his leg. He knew that he was going to be late to that challenge. And I don't think there was any malice. And I think he did everything he could to protect the health and well-being of Moises Caicedo. It's a foul, definite foul. I think the yellow is a little bit harsh, personally. But I understand why it was given, because it was quite late.
Caicedo in the first half had that hard foul also that kind of pulled out of it. And he's just like, I mean, the game legitimately comes down to those two decisions, is really
those two moments,
where it lies. And I think that people are going to go, the easy answer is to go, oh, Gay's now gone and their defense is a mess. I'm sorry, Chris Richards and LaCroix happen to both be very good central defenders, right? They're good.
Yeah, it was a great goal from Chris Richards as well.
And not known in that back three, Gay was not the center. It would be either Richards or LaCroix, who was typically the center.
I think LaCroix was usually the center. Gay was on the left, and Richards was on the right.
But when LaCroix would go, if LaCroix was out, Richards went center, not Gay. So, like, yes.
I also thought, and I might be harsh, I'd like to hear your goalkeepers union answer to this. I thought Dean Henderson could have done better for two of the goals.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, he could have.
Especially João Pedro's, which he got a foot on. Now, granted, it is close to him, but he hit it straight at him and went between his legs.
Right. Yes, he should have done better. Here's my thing with Palace is everybody's going to go, they're just going to turn and make the canned response that it's Gay. I think it's bigger than that. I think the things Glasner has said has completely lost the locker room. This team is now 7 points safe of the drop zone. They're only 1 point ahead of Leeds. They're dropping like a stone. They have lost key players, right? You know, now in the case we knew he was walking, but still, you lost him. You now lost Gay, your
But they knew
striker-
they were losing Gay too. They bought three center backs in the summer.
But allow me to keep that going. Your striker has already got his head turned and looking to move before the end of the window.
Yeah, Villa and Juventus have been in talks with him.
Yeah, and your manager has said, I ain't fucking coming back. Why does also, by the way, this week, surprisingly, red card boy, Wharton has said, I'm looking to move because he has aspirations to be on the England squad and he has gotten playing time with them. So this team is completely falling apart at the seams. I think they survive, but don't be surprised if Crystal Palace is 17th fucking place at the end of the year. They are falling apart, and I'm going to give you an exact replica of a team that was falling apart at this time was the Leicester team that went down.
Yep.
And so it just, sometimes a team too big to fail, right? You think of FA Cup winners playing in Europe, got all the pieces, good coach, everything's going well. But if those pieces start to fall apart, it's not looking good for Palace. I am legit worried about them.
Is they aren't too big to fail, right? Too big to fail is Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham, essentially.
But in this current scenario they're in,
before the Premier League, Leicester never won a major trophy either, right? Then they win that FA Cup, and then the whole thing blows up.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't help that the owners were flat fucking broke from COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean that hamstrung that club, like you wouldn't believe. And then you're looking at Palace, and here's where I do fault Glasner, right? Because it's your job as the manager to manage up. You have to manage your bosses. We all do it as sales reps. You did it when you worked here.
Mm-hmm.
Now you work for yourself is a bit different. But I have to manage my manager, right? I have to manage expectations. I have to manage the support that I'm receiving. I have to manage up. I have to tell them, this is what I've got coming. This is what I think I can accomplish. I need your help here. This is what I think I can do. And if if that doesn't meet what you need, because you could just fucking go get 50 cases. Well, I've sold 4 in the last year. How am I supposed to do 50? It makes no sense. But Glasner could have went about this in a less public way that was not detrimental to the club and not detrimental to the locker room. And I think you're absolutely right about him losing the locker room, because you just surprise announce you're leaving at the end of the season. You bitch the board out about selling all your star players. And then how does that make everybody else feel that's still in the team?
That's it. It's settled. Get Roy the boy.
Sure money.
That'll fix everything, right, Graham?
Get the old owl in. There's a mouse on the foot.
Alrighty. How'd you do, Mr. Graham?
I lost my bet at the first opportunity because I had under 3.5 or under 4.5, I think. And Sunderland or draw. And there was obviously, I had under 3.5. There's obviously 4 goals, so it fell down anyway. But Sunderland were shit.
Yeah. Allow me to say, Mr. Graham, if I'm going to lose the betting segment, I would like to lose the betting segment exactly the way I lost it this weekend. There I am in the 94th minute looking at a Liverpool Bournemouth draw, which would have got me 1,200 and would have put me 100 in the black. Like I would have made it a contest. And then the goal happens. And then all pandemonium. If that is how I'm going to lose the betting segment, let me lose it that way every fucking week, Mr. Graham. I'll lose like that every fucking time, because that loss brought me so much joy.
I bet it did.
I was cheering. I was like, fuck yeah, I lost my bet in the house, just screaming my absolute head off.
The best part about that loss, coupled with your draw today, is you're only 3 points out of 6th, which is where Liverpool find themselves. You're only 3 points behind them and only 4 goals behind them in goal differential after 23 fucking games.
Exactly. So I am now down 1382.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Did you know that 9.523809524% of the time, Mr. Graham, works 100% of the time?
Nice.
And you know when it really works? It works really well right at the death as your bitter rivals lose and bitch and moan the entire time with 1,000 excuses about why they lose.
All right, good. So who did Liverpool play? They're drawing who this weekend?
It's me, Cartman, with the redheaded kid going, "Let me lick your ginger tears." That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I am going to go with a 3-leg parlay of overs and unders. So 2 overs and 1 under. I'm going to go City and Spurs over 3.5. They always score goals. 4 goals are happening. Liverpool and Newcastle over 2.5. I think this is at least a 2-1 match. If not, I really think it's probably a 2-2 because I don't think Liverpool's winning any games right now. And then the last one, because it screams a dog shit match, United and Fulham under 2.5 goals.
Ooh, that's intense.
Yeah, I feel like
especially when you got the wand of Harry, especially you got the Harry Wilson left wand.
Feels like a 1-1 or a 1-0 to me. And that would get me $745. And if the one leg that misses is Liverpool and Newcastle, I'm a happy man. I'm okay with it. I'll gladly do my 3 Malort shots for that. Gladly.
There you go. All right. So I went with a 5-leg parlay here. 2 of those legs in one game. And I did a little bit of the reverse parlay. I did a little bit of the reverse psychology that you did with the Liverpool draw, where you'll be happy if you lose.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm up just $282 now this season after my most recent loss. But I've got Brighton or draw with Everton under 3.5 goals in the game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't. Y'all don't give up many. But you also don't score a shit ton. But it's at Brighton. So even if it's 2-1 to Brighton, I'm still good. And I think that's probably what the score is going to be, if not 1-1.
We talked about this last season. Brighton hasn't beaten Everton in 9 times at home. They have 2 draws and 7 losses.
Yeah, but you've only won at Villa in 140 years 4 times. And one of them was 2 weeks ago. So I think it's all right. I've got Forest or draw.
Not good gambling.
Pretty sure they play Wolves. I don't remember. Nope.
Get it the fuck together, Sam.
I know. I didn't write it down. I'm an idiot. Palace. They play Palace at home.
There we go.
They play Palace at home. And for reasons already explained. Forest or draw in that game. I've got Villa to win.
I recant.
That was easy.
For Forest.
Yeah. I've got Villa beating Brentford. I think their kind of form isn't particularly good, but Villa are rolling. And like you said, with the additions they have back from injury and Onana rebalances that midfield, I think they dominate that game, to be completely fair. And then here is the reverse psychology second part, because they just beat us. I've got United to beat Fulham straight up. So if Villa lose, I'm happy. If United lose, I'm also happy because I can then text everybody that texted me over the weekend who I haven't heard from in fucking months. That all garners me a whopping 523 doll hairs on my $100 bet.
Excellent. All right. That's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
I actually don't have any parting words this time.
Perfect, because I got one for you, because Taylor came in like a fucking champ 11 minutes ago in the closed group, puts up Virgil van Dijk as the Pillsbury dope boy.
Nice.
I am fucking here for it. That is why we love our fucking listeners. Next up is going to be DU does the DU does EFL because Debbie didn't do the Dallas. She did Dallas. And
I think it'd be funnier if she did the Dallas.
right. And where we talk about the rest of English football. And of course, then we do injury time. We're going to preview the weekend's action, talk about our adopted club, and see how we did with fantasy as well. Should you want to support the show, Mr. Graham, how do you go about doing that?
Very easy. It's patreon.com/DFootball show. Sign up to that $5 tier. Very simple maths. $5 a month gets you all the extra content.
Excellent. Till next week, everybody.
Good night.